After spending 4 days exploring the Zillertal Valley, 2 at Meyerhofen and 2 at Hintertux, I faced the delightful dilemma for my final day. Zillertal Arena or Hoch Zillertal? Throughout my stay, I've made it a point to ask locals and fellow skiers for their recommendations. While both resorts received glowing reviews, Zillertal Arena consistently came out on top. The extensive terrain, the excellent lift system, multiple villages, and the fact that it stretches all the way to Königsleiten made it the clear winner. The enthusiastic recommendations from everyone I spoke to solidified my decision that I would be spending my final day at this massive resort. Midweek, I reached out to the resort's marketing team, and after exchanging a few emails, we arranged to meet at the Rosenbaum Summit. I can't imagine a better place for a meeting. The countless corporate gatherings I've had throughout my life, this will be my first time having it take place at a ski resort, on the piste and on a chairlift. Could I get used to this lifestyle? Absolutely. Friday morning arrived, and I felt genuinely excited for my day ahead. After enjoying a quintessential hotel breakfast, I hopped in the car and drove a quick 15 minutes over to Zell im Zillertal, where 2 gondolas serve as the gateway to the resort. From below the Rosenbaum, I could see the infamous White Ribbon of Death, the number 10 piste, an advanced run that stretches 2.3 kilometers with 750 meters of vertical drop. This intimidating trail forms the bottom section of connected runs that allow skiers to descend from the summit to the base, covering a staggering 1,920 meters of vertical. To an Aussie skier, these numbers are daunting, but I tucked them away for later. Today, I was back on my skis, determined to improve my technique. Would I regret this decision when facing the number 10 piste at day's end? Perhaps.
Morning. So today we're starting our day. It's our last day skiing in the Zillertal Valley, which is unfortunate, but we are on continuing the journey off to other amazing places. But I have just gone to the ticket office in Zillertal Arena, got my lift ticket thanks to the marketing team, also got myself a press kit, which is pretty cool, and we are now gonna get ready, head up the gondola, and I'm meeting the marketing team up there at 9 AM, and I think we're going to ski around for a bit. She's going to show me the new lifts they have here. They've got 2 brand new lifts that they opened this season, and so it's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a bit overcast. I can see, I don't know if the bad weather behind me is actually going towards or away from the valley, but any day on the mountain is better than being at work, so let's go.
I met Tamara from the marketing team as planned, just as the snow began falling during our gondola ascent. We spent the morning riding lifts together while she shared insights about the resort. Zillertal Arena, as she explained, is the largest ski area in the Zillertal Valley, spanning 4 villages across 2 provinces, both Tyrol and Salzburg. The resort boasts impressive stats: 143 kilometers of groomed piste, 52 modern lifts with the capacity to move 78,000 skiers per hour, and a huge vertical which ranges from 580 meters up to 2,500 meters. Established in its current form in 2000, when several smaller ski areas merged, the resort has seen over €160 million in infrastructure improvements in the last 2 decades. Despite these facts, the dense clouds unfortunately obscured what would have been spectacular views of this vast terrain. I explained my ambitious mission to Tamara to reach the furthest corner of the resort and back all in one day. A challenge considering the resort stretches across a significant portion of the valley.
Yes, this ski resort is huge. We're over here in Zell im Ziller. We're going to go up to the top in the Über Youngjock, over the Wild Krimmel, down to Jerlos, and then see if we can make it over to the far corner, but we might only make it to Jerlos today.
We rode together on the Königsleiten Express and the Kapellens Express, skiing in the piste between. The 8-person Kapellens Express, I learned, was a new addition that had only opened the previous season and cost €12 million, evidence of the resort's ongoing investment into infrastructure and commitment to reducing wait times. The modern lift whisks us up 6 meters per second, a significant improvement over its predecessor. We parted ways at the Königsleiten peak, where I headed into the backside of Zillertal, known as Teufeltal, or the Devil's Valley. I've seen videos of this area online, and it is truly like being transported from the Zillertal Valley into an expanse of open piste surrounded by mountain wilderness.
So we just wrapped up our ski meeting with the marketing team here at Zillertal Arena and rode up to the top of Zell side of the resort, and then I've just now made my way down to the Ville de Krumel gondola, which opened last season, and it's an amazing run to get here. But now we're going to go check out the Tuffiok, which is a brand new chairlift and opened this season, so it would have opened in like November, December. And I think it used to be a double chair or a quad, and it's now an 8-seater with bubbles and heated seats. So quite a nice operation. But at Zillertal Arena, you can jump in from many places, but this connects you over the mountains to Görlitz and a few other towns. And it was 4 ski resorts. It's now actually just 1. And I think it is the biggest in the Zillertal Valley. So we've got a lot to explore today. We only got 1 day here before we continue our adventure. But let's go check out this new chairlift.
In the Devil's Valley, I discovered the new Teufeltal lift, a luxurious 8-seater chairlift that has that unmistakable new car smell. From there, it was time to make my way over towards Görlitz, the middle section of Zillertal Arena. As I navigated through this zone, I found myself enchanted by the views. Then, somehow, I ended up on a black piste, the 33A, and surprised myself by actually making it all the way down. Upon reaching the town of Görlitz, I found it to be essentially one long main road. This picturesque alpine village, established in the 13th century, sits at an elevation of 1,300 metres in the Zillertal Valley. Despite its small permanent population of around 800 residents, Görlitz transforms during the winter as it welcomes thousands of visitors drawn to its excellent skiing conditions. The town's history is deeply connected to alpine farming and traditional Tyrolean culture, though today it primarily serves as a tourism hub for both winter and summer activities. Seeking a coffee break, I wandered down the street, passing traditional Tyrolean buildings with their distinctive wooden balconies and painted facades. The town combines historical charm with modern amenities. Having developed significantly since the 1960s, when skiing tourism began to flourish in the region, I eventually found this adorable Austrian restaurant, one of the few places that was actually open, and they served a decent latte. Stopped for a coffee, but this coffee's already gone. But how cute is this little cafe in Görlitz? Gone for a walk, got a coffee, explored the town of Görlitz, which is adorable. Now we're going to get on the Dorfbahn and head back up into the mountain and continue our journey, which I think next stop is crossing over the border and going into Salzburg. The staff were friendly in that particular Austrian way, efficient but never rushed. Afterwards, I returned to the Dorfbahn in Görlitz, which is a gondola with my new mission: find the umbrella bar that Tamara had recommended, as it was going to be my place for lunch. The journey there involved taking the blue beginner runs, a highlight of the Görlitz area, before connecting onto the black 36 piste, which plunged deep into the valley. I'm still not sure if it's better to know or not know when you're heading into an advanced run, but this was the only way down. From there, it's the Mosseltret Express. It took me up past the umbrella bar, requiring a short ski back to reach it. Entering the umbrella bar for lunch, I was surprised by its size. A massive indoor restaurant with a bar in the middle. After circling the cafeteria-style section, I settled on a schnitzel paired with a Zillertal Weissbier. The brewery that produces its local beer has been operating in the valley since 1500s, reflecting the region's long tradition with brewing. The real treat was the enormous patio, true to its name with huge umbrellas, which offered jaw-dropping views of the surrounding mountains, including the impressive Reichenspitze that dominates the local landscape. They were playing great chill-out music, and thankfully the sun began to break through the clouds, allowing me to truly appreciate the splendour that is Görlitz. The area around me is part of the High Tauern mountain range, one of Austria's most significant natural regions. The Görlitz ski area, which became part of the larger Zillertal Arena in 2000, has been continuously developed and modernised. with over €20 million invested in new lifts and infrastructure in the past decade. This investment is evident in the quality of the facilities around me. At this halfway point, I was making excellent time on my adventure. Next came the Fassam Express lift, which connected to the Falschbahn gondola, the two lifts that would carry me over to Königsleiten. By now, I realised that anything above 2,200 metres remained shrouded in the clouds, while everything below offered great visibility.
We're here at the top of the Gerlos and Königsleiten part of the ski resort. Over there is the Königsleiten Gipfelbahn. We're at 2305 metres, 2,305. And now we're going to go down to 1,600 metres and go to Königsleiten. So to do that, we have to take what looks like the 53 down to the 51, all the way down. So the clouds have set in, but I think that's just because we're at higher elevation. Gonna zip up. Oh.
I took the 53 piste, intending to ride all the way down to Königsleiten, but got distracted by racecourses and the speed test arena. This diversion led me to take a wrong turn, depositing me at the bottom of the Gipfelbahn gondola. These Austrian resorts seem to have gondolas everywhere. Great for beginners and families, though the constant on and off with the skis does become a bit tiresome. Back at the top, now knowing where not to go, I plotted my course down to Königsleiten. The 53 to the 51 to the 55 to the 51A and then back onto the 55A. Before I knew it, I was descending into this adorable Austrian town of Königsleiten. If you're seeking an escape away from society with nothing but the mountains surrounding you, this is the place.
I don't even know what time it is. I think it might be like 1:30, 2 o'clock. And we've made it to the far corner of Zillertal Arena in Königsleiten. And now we're going to take the gondola back up and start our journey all the way back to Zell.
I stopped at the bar to explore the area, have a quick drink, recharge before beginning my extremely long journey back to Ziller, a distance which is 26 kilometers by road through the valley, which is a considerable amount to cover on skis when you're going there and back. After my break, I boarded the Dorfbahn Königsleiten gondola, which efficiently whisked me back to the top in a single trip. An impressive lift for such a small village. From there, I navigated down the intermediate runs to the La Machbahn chairlift, which carried me up to 2,300 metres. I descended the long and perfectly groomed intermediate red piece, which connects to the 40B piece, passing the base of the gondola as I headed back towards Gerlos. The 40A piece proved to be rather boring cat track. Eventually connecting me onto the 38 piece, I passed the umbrella bar again, now humming with the energy of afternoon après-ski. From there, it was over to the Krumbach Express 6-pack, which takes me to the arena centre, which is the main part above Gerlos. I managed a couple of laps on this blue terrain, really appreciating the well-groomed beginner-friendly section. With the clock approaching about 3 p.m, I needed to start making my way back to my car, which was at the base of Zillertal Arena. This meant boarding the Ebenfeld Express 6-pack, which took me back to the Sturm-Mandelbahn gondola. It connects you back to the Istkogel Peak at 2,264 metres. This section of the resort feels remarkably wild and remote, almost as if you're beyond the resort boundaries. It's home to the brand new Teufelshotel in the Devil's Valley. The contrast between the seemingly untouched area and the well-developed resort infrastructure creates a unique skiing experience that honestly is hard to find elsewhere. From there, I skied down to catch the Krimmel Express, another gondola that opened last season, showcasing the resort's consistent investment in lift infrastructure. The modern facilities throughout the resort demonstrate a clear commitment to providing skiers with the best possible experience. The Krimmel Express transported me up to the Ube Yangsjoch at 2,500 metres, the highest point in the entire Zillertal Arena ski area. As I noted earlier, everything above 2,300 metres remained engulfed in the clouds, severely limiting the visibility. The thick white clouds created an almost otherworldly sensation, as if floating above the mountain rather than standing on it. Once at the summit, I realised I was about to embark on a 1,900 metre descent all the way down to the valley floor, a truly epic vertical drop that very few resorts can offer in a single run. The descent begins with the number 22 piece, connecting down to the number 19 and continuing to join the number 11, which run beneath the rosin arm gondola and past the Funti piste, a particularly enjoyable experience with playful terrain that's designed to add some excitement to your run. I found myself smiling as I navigated through this area, appreciating the thoughtful course design. The trail then weaved through some beautiful alpine scenery down to the Weissen Arm at 1,309 meters, where I was faced with the infamous number 10 piste, or the steep ribbon of death that I'd spotted earlier when driving to the resort. Standing at the top looking down, I could feel a mixture of excitement and trepidation about what lay ahead. Whilst this run is groomed daily to ensure sufficient snow coverage for a full top to bottom descent, by late afternoon, the lower elevation and the warmer temperatures means that it is slushy, it is bumpy, and it is hard. For someone who had spent fewer than 10 days on skis in my lifetime, tackling a black run with sizable bumps and spring slush presented quite the challenge. I found myself questioning my decision more than once as I navigated this increasingly difficult terrain. My legs were burning from the effort, and my technique was being tested to its limits. Nevertheless, having committed to the route, I had no choice but to continue. Each fall was a humbling reminder of just how much I still had to learn about skiing, but also made the successful completing the run more satisfying. Thankfully, the camera had run out, so any footage of this is in my own head. Eventually, I made it all the way to the base. My quads were screaming, but my spirit was soaring with this accomplishment. I'd successfully traversed the entire Zillertal Arena resort in a single day, covering an incredible amount of terrain across multiple villages and the valleys. Looking back up at the mountains that I'd conquered, I felt deep satisfaction, having completed quite an ambitious mission. Making my way to the parking lot, I turned around, took one last look at the resort that had provided such an incredible day of riding. I returned to my car, packed up my gear, and drove the mere 15 minutes back to my hotel for my final night in the Zillertal Valley. While there has been a tinge of sadness about leaving this beautiful area, I couldn't be too disappointed. I was 2/3 the way through my trip, and the next morning I would be getting up to drive to the legendary Kitzbühel as I continued my Austrian ski adventure. The memories of the Zillertal Arena will stay with me, however, one of the highlights of this time in the Austrian Alps. I also want to say thanks again to Tamara from the marketing team at Zillertal Arena for hooking me up with the lift tickets and also accompanying me during the day at the resort. It's an incredible experience and I can't wait to be back.